first stuff.
Good morning and welcome to our second edition of 30-Minute Monday. Today we're going to talk about something that is pretty fun. We're going to show you how to add color to an option set in Dynamics 365, how to apply your calendar control on a view or an entity, and then how to map your color in that option set to differentiate your calendar entries. So super fun thing. I wrote a blog about it, which I have up here a few weeks ago, and I thought we'd kind of walk through that and then dive into Dynamics 365 and demo how we're going to make that happen. So the first thing that we want to do is open up our option set in Dynamics 365. So in this screenshot, you can see that this is a custom option set that I have built. It's called Type. And what we're going to do is start to add some color to our values on that option set. Now, right, Lee's here. I'm going to wait and let Lee pop in. Hi, Lee. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So I'll back up a sec. So today I'm super excited. We're going to talk about how to add color on an option set in Dynamics 365, how to apply a calendar control to a view, and then how to map over the color that you've added on your option set to show up on your calendar. So here's our out-of-the-box read-only grid that you're likely looking at in your Dynamics 365 install. So it shows you, this is my appointments, which is what we're going to work on today. Shows you just a list of what your appointments are with some attributes, and then your users can come through and manage it in the list. So the first thing we're going to do, which I've already done, is apply a calendar control, which then changes your read-only grid to look something like this, which is pretty neat too. So I'm still seeing my data, but it's in a very specific time slot, and I've mapped a couple things. So what we're going to do first is add some color to this option set. So then this will be differentiated. So my users can just look at this calendar and know right away what type of appointment they're looking at based on what color it is. So one super important thing to note is that right now, everything we're talking about, the calendar control, adding color on an option set, all this fun stuff has to be done on the Classic Solution Designer. So if you are an online customer, you're going to have to click this awesome little button to switch to Classic. That's your first step. I'm sure this will be something you could do in Power Apps eventually. It's just not there yet. So I'm going to come into my Classic Solution Designer. I'm going to expand appointments. And I'm going to go to fields. So I've already added this field to my solution file just to kind of make this a little bit easier. And I'm going to open this up and I'll zoom in a bit. So this probably looks familiar. This is your standard option set. Down here at the bottom are my individual options. So obviously you have your label, which is what the display is, and then the value, the schema name on the database side. But something that you may or may not have done before is apply a color, which is cool. So you can take these different colors and just kind of plop something in here. So I grabbed a few. I'm going to toggle over to my blog again for a second, because I know a lot of marketing people and programmers already know your colors. I don't. I have to Google it every time. So Dynamics 365 is using hex codes. So I made a little hex code cheat sheet. So if you're just getting started and you need to get some ideas, you can just kind of copy and paste what's listed here.
So quick tip, just to give you some insight on that, Heidi. You know how that works, right? So you've got each two of those. So there's 6 characters. So the first two goes from
red,
0 to F, red, blue,
yeah,
and then green. So, red, green, blue.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I didn't know a whole lot about it. So I just copied and pasted some of them in here and gave each one of these a value, and we could change these to be whatever we want. So if we want to make this one something else, you can just type it in here, 00FF00. The hashtag's important. I guess it wouldn't be a hashtag at that point, Nick. What would that be? Or is it a hashtag always?
I just call it the number symbol. It's probably not the technical term.
F5733. And you can play around and pick whatever shades and values you like. You can see some of the ones that I have in here are different than what I threw on the blog.
If you click on the little color splotch, does it open a color picker there?
No, it doesn't.
Dang.
Which is why I created that little cheat sheet for people like me that don't know that were Googling like hex code red and looking up what it was. But you can get more in depth and fancy than what's here, but at least it's a starting point. So blue will do 0, 0, 0, 0, F, F, F. There we go. All right. So when we're done this, I'm going to save and close. So it's going to update the color on my option set. So this is the first step in what we want to do here. And again, everything we're going to do is on this Classic Solution Designer. So now we've updated that field, and I'm going to publish my changes on the appointment. Cool. So while that publishes, I'm going to come back here. So step 1 is done. We've applied color to our option set. And again, adding colors, I like to use it because it helps your users easily distinguish between different types. So this can be really, really useful when you have a lot of people managing the same appointment area. So the next thing we'll do is show you and walk through how to configure the calendar control on a specific view. You can also do it for the entire entity, but we'll do the view today, and how to include the color that you just added on that option set as part of the maps. So calendar control is another thing that still has to be done on the Classic Solution Explorer. So once again, I'm going to stay in appointments since that's where we're demoing today. And I'm going to go to views. This is my appointments. I haven't applied it yet. So I'm going to double click to open this. And then that's going to give us our old school classic builder of the view. In our common task box on the right-hand side, we're going to go to custom controls. So if you haven't applied any controls on this view yet, you're just going to see your read-only grid default. We're going to click Add Control, which is then going to give us a list of all of the different UI controls that are available on a view. There's some really cool things in here, but the one we're going to do today is Calendar Control. It gives you a little preview of what that'll look like. And click Add. So the calendar control, there's a couple things that we need to configure before we're ready to go live with it. And they're obviously marked with a red asterisk here. So we need to tell it what the start date is. So when we put an appointment on my calendar for today, is that a start date today? Is that a complete date today? What do you want to map it to? So if you click this little pencil icon, it's going to ask you what value its start date. It's going to show you every single date and time field you have on that entity. So you're going to want to pick one. This one, we're going to do our scheduled start. Since this is a My Open Opportunities view, it wouldn't make much sense to do your actual start or your actual end because these are open. So I'm going to click OK. Then we have description. So if you're on your calendar, there's going to be one line of text that's going to display on that calendar. What do you want that text to be? That's what goes into your description field. So once again, we're going to bind to a value on the field. And for this, I want it to be my subject, my topic on there. But you can see there's a lot of options here. It's all of your fields. You can bind it to any value you want. You click OK. And that's it for required fields. You don't have to do any other mapping here, but you can if you want. The one that I want to do is color. So this won't do anything unless you've applied color to your option set that you're going to map. I'm going to click my little arrow here, and I'm going to bind to a value on the field. Now, it's important to bind to the correct value or your color is not going to apply at all. So we did this on Ren_type. Click OK. And that's all I have to do. Click OK, save and close. And then I'm going to come back to my again. And I'm going to publish it. This is going to be the shortest 30-minute Mondays ever. Cool. So hopefully I published. Hopefully the demo gods are nice and on our side right now. And let's do a hard refresh. And we should see lots of colors on this view now. Assuming I waited long enough for publish, which apparently I did not. Dang it. Sorry if you hear banging. My deck's getting demolished right now. I have the noise canceling headphones on, but it's a little intense. All right, we're gonna try to publish all customizations and then be a little bit patient. They're counting it down. I don't know if you can hear the banging. Awesome. So Nick, would you entertain us with some hold music as we wait for Dynamics to publish our customizations? He left. That was a great reaction. I'm just going to leave the meeting. Never mind. I'm going to try to open this back up again. We'll see if that helps. I love live demos. Welcome back, Nick.
Hello. Did it
Thanks
still
for the
not
hold
load?
music. It's thinking, it's a spinny wheel of demo systems. So
Oh, those are fun.
demo systems require a little bit of extra patience over sandbox systems in production. But this is a wonderful control in general to apply to things like activities. I think it's a lot more helpful to end users to be able to view all of your activities on a nice, visually formatted view rather than just the list of data. So it'll default you to week, but you can also view month. So you can click on month and you can kind of see everything here, which is really nice. Man, we're still thinking here.
Wow.
I know, it doesn't usually take this long, sorry. But if you remember, so another good point is that I only applied this to one view. So you can see I'm jumping around to different areas of activities and there's no changes there because I haven't applied that color control on the view. So that's a view mapping item. So if you wanted to kind of put it everywhere, you would have to repeat it everywhere you want to see it. At least on activities. Activities is a little bit of a fun scenario. Other places you could just apply that on the entity itself and it would trickle down. And I honestly have no idea why this is not publishing. It's a little bit frustrating. Brr. Let me scroll us down here for a moment. I think I have a picture at least of what it looks like. There we go. All the colors. So when I did this a few weeks ago, before I undid it and redid it today, it popped up with pretty colors based on which appointment type I had selected. So for this one, we just simply had first appointment, second appointment, third appointment, and annual review, which is pretty neat. I'm way bummed this is not publishing for us right now. Nick, any thoughts?
Just looking at the view.
This is why we test. Even
Yeah.
us experts can make mistakes. So we're going to come back here and let's go to our custom controls.
That would do it.
This is a nice rookie mistake to demonstrate. So, does anyone see what I did here? We applied the control, we configured the mapping, and we forgot one of the most fundamental parts of applying a custom control, setting the scope. So our control was added, but it's not activated. So right now we have the read-only grid on web, phone, and tablet. So if we turn it on for the web, this will work. I think this is actually a really good example.
You know, I have a hard time talking and doing other things at the same time. So I could, if I was doing this by hand, it'd be easy, but to do it and talk at the same time would be very hard.
Okay, that published quickly, which is great. Hard refresh of our view, and hopefully it's lit up with color when it comes back. Now that we have, very importantly, set scope. Son of a monkey. All right, Nick, what now?
Did you publish it again after you did that?
Let's try the whole thing. So generally when I make a small change, I'll publish it at the entity, which is what I keep doing. So I'm going onto appointment and just publishing that entity versus publishing my whole solution file. It's the only thing I've changed. So there's no harm other than it takes longer and we sit here longer in silence before we actually see it work.
Well, that's a good practice then, because you're not overwriting other people's work at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. Getting aside on an aside with that solution management best practices, absolutely. Because more often time than not, you're going to be working together with somebody else, whether it's a partner, a coworker, or someone else who's customizing your system. It's important not to overwrite things that have already been done by somebody else.
Yeah.
That can get you into trouble. Especially if someone clicks that publish all and you're not done.
I've never done that. Definitely not guilty of that.
I think that's a problem that people will make once. There we go.
Look at the colors.
So pretty.
Love it.
Yay.
And what did you key that on? Is it on status or?
Now, let me open one of these up for you. There is a field that we created called type. And type is an option set. Here we go. And that is the option set that we edited where we applied color. So there is a different color for each one of these. So if I change
do
this
that
guy,
for any option set?
you can do that for any option set. And there's probably quite a bit of use cases for this beyond this one that we're showing today. This is just what I like. So this took me to my activities, which does not have color mapping. We did not configure that on my activities. That's actually a little bit of a more difficult one when you look at activities because that has different activity types. So I haven't applied that onto my activities yet. Have you, Nick, by any chance? Yeah, I'm not sure if we can at the activity level, but you can when you dive into like appointments or tasks or a specific entity instead of all activities.
Mm-hmm. I know what we've done before is we've taken this particular view and put it in on the, like we've taken a view like this and put it on the site map. So people aren't hunting around for things.
Yes, yes. That's nice too, especially if you have a lot of people managing the same calendar. So not really my appointments, but all appointments or open appointments or something like that. And then if you have a team that's kind of focused on one versus the other, if I'm working on like sorry about the cat, they really like when we're on these calls. So if I am working maybe on just annual reviews, I want to take a look at what annual reviews I have this week instead of looking at everything and kind of diving in and clicking on each one if I need to. From here, I can just scan and look for the blue and see what I have real quickly without having to look at everything. So that's all I had for showing today. I'm sorry I flew through it so fast. I'm kind of glad I made a mistake because I think it's important to know how to troubleshoot when things don't work the right way and look through different things. Also, it's nice to show that we're all human and we all make mistakes even when we know better.
Well, if you don't make mistakes, do you really have experience?
Good point. Good point. Do you have any questions? Do you want to see anything else? Lee, how's life going for you? Do you need colorful option sets in your life?
I think that was fun. I learned a lot. Thank you.
Oh, good. Glad to hear it. Yeah, I think this is really cool. If you want, you can check out this blog. I took today and did step-by-step instructions, and I know I pointed out scope in my step-by-step. When I speak about these things, I always talk about how scope is important. Pretty good. Nick, anything from you?
No, I think this is pretty cool. I like the colors are really helpful because they give you a quick overview. I know that we've used it for payment status before, and that's really helpful. So front desk knows as soon as somebody walks in whether or not the appointment has been paid for, and it gives you a really quick visual way to do it. I think the colors are really useful for people who are not necessarily the most technical, and to give it to staff members like that is really helpful.
Awesome. Kate, since you're up here, did you have anything you'd like to share about Power Apps and Dynamics 365? Not today. Maybe we'll have another Kaylin focused video later this week when she has more breaks at school. Okay, well, this was a nice 20-minute Monday. This is awesome. Thanks, Lee, for joining us. Hope it was helpful. Thanks, Nick, for popping on.
Thank you guys for doing this.
No problem. Thank you. Maybe see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.